Zambia is my home.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Tili Pamodzi Chats with me, your host for today, Lulu Haangala Wood. Now we are in the middle of a global crisis. This has affected us in so many different ways. And it also has affected us greatly when we have to think of transactions. Despite the fact that the global pandemic is going on right now, we still have to do transactions as just normal customers or even as businesses. Financial institutions like Stanbic Bank then are served with a challenge to serve their customers to the best of their abilities. And today I am joined by the Stanbic Head of Digital Channels, Mr. Mbinga Kafunya. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Mbinga, tell me a bit more about what you do in your role at Stanbic Bank.
Yes, Lulu. In my role as digital channels head, my role is to ensure that the digital channels are available 24/7. As you know, digital channels are supposed to be available whether it's day, whether it's night. It's pretty much 24 hours banking. Over and above that, my role is to ensure that if there are any developments, as you know, the digital environment is fluid.
Yeah.
There are literally developments from a global perspective and even from a local perspective. Or indeed, if there are any demands that are coming out from customers, my role is to ensure that those demands are then enabled on our digital platforms.
Now, before we even go into deep, I need to understand. We need to make sure we can define what is a digital channel, mobile channel, and the physical channel.
Yeah, the distinction is pretty easy, Lulu. From a digital perspective, these are transactions that are done by customers on any of our digital platforms. Our digital platforms being ATM, for example, that's a digital platform.
Oh, okay.
In essence, you are interacting with a machine to be able to do your banking transaction. Your physical channels, on the other end, are those channels that are brick and mortar and where you're actually interacting with individuals. So your branch, for example, where you physically go into your branch, interact with a teller or interact with a consultant, that will be your physical channel. From a digital perspective, there are multiple gadgets that you can use to be able to do your digital banking. You can use your mobile phone, for example, and I brought this for demo just to ensure that you could understand and your viewers as well could understand that they can use their mobile phone. They can use a tablet, for example. They could use a laptop as well.
Yeah.
So there are multiple channels and devices that an individual can use to do their banking.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you did speak about developments, and you know, there are global developments like the COVID-19 pandemic has totally changed how we do life right
Indeed,
now.
indeed.
And you're pushing for customers to rely more on the digital and mobile channels for their banking needs. Now, how much has been done to help your customers to continue accessing your banking services to full satisfaction?
Indeed, I think that's a good question. That's timely based on the developments that are currently happening. As you have noted, COVID is a big pandemic, literally global, affected our country as well. And the guidelines that we've received are such that there should be distancing between individuals in order not to spread the pandemic. For us to be able to do that, of course, in the physical channels, we have had social distancing measures applied in there. But what we've also done is to encourage our customers to use the digital platforms. Because in essence, with the digital platform, you use it at your convenience, on your own. You don't have to meet somebody. You don't have to be face-to-face with a teller. You don't have to be face-to-face with a consultant as well. So what we've done is that we've invested in our tech. One, we've upgraded our systems to ensure that they are stable, so that in the event that customers want to use our digital platforms, they are not down and their uptime is much, much higher. Over and above that, we've invested in other technologies such as Microsoft Teams. As you know, there are people that are working from home, even
Yes.
from the bank. But what we've said is that your business will not stop because of COVID. We want to make sure that where we can, from a banking perspective, you are able to do your banking transactions. So in adding, what we've done also is to ensure that we've invested in systems where our staff will be able to serve you from their homes.
Oh, wow. That's
Exactly,
that's interesting.
exactly.
I noticed the silence in the bank as I walked in. There's no one
Exactly.
around here.
So where it's possible, I mean, like we say, it's a digital world. Where it's possible, our staff are able to get onto Microsoft Teams, onto Skype. They're able to get onto some banking platforms as well to be able to serve you as quickly as they can. So essentially, there's been a huge upgrade in bandwidth, so that from a customer perspective and from a staff perspective, the seamless transaction flow for customers even during the pandemic.
So how are your new interactions, though, the interaction measures really helping your various customers? Because you've got different customers. You've got the big business, the small to medium businesses, and your individual customers.
True. The interactions obviously are multi-layered. The big customers, where we can, we're obviously meeting them through, again, some of the platforms that I spoke about, such as Microsoft Teams. We set up meetings. We have discussions with clients. For the smaller businesses and for the individuals, what we've done is to go on a massive educational drive. We've actually partnered as well with the central bank. You notice some advertising that has come from the central bank or some informationals, really, to sensitize people that they can use digital platforms. They do not necessarily need to go into a physical channel, into a branch, to be able to do their banking.
Okay. One of the things I know a lot of people will walk into a bank for is to access financing. How are you, solving that issue of access to finance during these times?
Yeah. So what we've done as a bank is that we've actually introduced lending on our digital platforms.
That's different. Please tell me a bit more about that.
I actually think we're probably one of the few, if not the only bank, that's
Okay.
actually lending in the way we are. We have actually introduced what we're calling an instant loan. An instant loan, particularly for individual customers. We are introducing the same for enterprise customers, our smaller businesses, pretty soon in the next few weeks as well. So essentially, what the instant lending does is the customer can log on to our internet banking. On that internet banking platform, if they do qualify for a loan, they will get an offer, as opposed to them walking into a physical space, into a branch, filling in application forms, waiting for a couple of days for them to get a decision as to whether it's been approved or not. In the event that they qualify, they'll be able to see an offer on the internet banking platform, and on that platform, they can apply. Literally within a minute or two, they'll be able to get a decision. And in the event that they qualify and the offer is appearing on internet banking, the funds will be disbursed into the account, meaning that the funds will be sitting on the account within a minute. So this is something that we are beginning to extend. We started with individuals. When we started, we actually started with customers who already have loans with us. Those that just want extra money over and above their existing loans. Then we introduced it to those that do not have loans but have accounts with us, individuals. We are now moving it onto businesses. We're starting with the smaller businesses, and as we go on, we'll continue to increase the size of business that can get our financing through this method. And again, the way we look at our digital platforms, we look at it from an asset perspective, from a lending perspective. Customers should be able to access lending products and the loans that we've just spoken to. From a deposit perspective, customers should be able to deposit using our digital platforms. They can do that from our ATMs or from our CDMs. And to transact as well, they can make payments using our
I'll slow you
digital
down there. What
platforms.
is a CDM?
Customer deposit machine.
Interesting. Okay, great.
Exactly.
No, it's great that you are addressing the challenge of
Agreed.
loans. As a woman in business, also I know I did talk about this earlier to say I hope
True.
you are also focusing on making sure that women are accessing these loans, and you assured me that they are.
True. Essentially, I mean, all statistics show that women, I think, about 51 to 52% of the population, whether it's locally, whether it's in multiple regions, and so they're a big part of the economy. They're also a big part, obviously, of our customers, of our customer base. Ours is to serve women. We've also discovered, from a financing perspective, that women are actually better payers than men.
Thank you. I love to hear this. Did you hear that?
So we have, through our Anakazi banking, and your viewers can log on to some of the Anakazi shows that we've had, where deliberately we're engaging women, multiple groups, various groups, and educating them on how to access finance from the bank.
Fantastic. Now, I own an online business, and I
Yes,
know that,
AfriShop.
yes, AfriShop,
Yes,
and I
yes,
know that
yes, indeed.
security is a big issue, for a lot of people. So, a lot of customers will shy away from digital channels because they prefer to just walk in and make sure that, I know that my money is safe. I know that no one is going to try, do any fraud on my account. So I feel safer walking into a bank. Now, how are you ensuring that this is not a problem for your customers?
Yeah, indeed, we've made huge investments in security. As you know, we're a bank. Security is number one, so that we can safeguard our customers' funds. So ultimately, the most important thing from a security perspective using digital platforms is that you do not reveal your username and your passwords and all pins to third parties. Because once you do that, then you become compromised. Be it whether you're logging into our USSD or any of our platforms or using our card platforms, you should not disclose to another party. That should be your secret. That's the biggest way in which you can safeguard any of your funds from being hacked into or indeed being moved. So essentially, when a customer is logging in, for example, into a digital platform, the digital platform will ask for the customer's password for them to be able to view their balance or to be able to view their account. Once they log on to the digital platform, in the event that they're making a payment, the platform will also ask for a PIN. It will send the PIN to your mobile phone. Okay? And your mobile phone number is the number that you gave us when you opened the account, so that this number cannot easily be changed by anybody in the course of the transaction, because otherwise then you could easily compromise your account. Then from that perspective, you are forced to load your PIN number, which has been sent to your mobile phone, to be able to progress the transaction. So there are multiple layers from a security perspective that we've put in place.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what are the advantages of using your digital platforms as opposed to the physical channels? Because I'm sure that a lot of your digital platforms have been available for your customers, but like I said earlier, people
True.
shy away from them.
True.
So maybe tell us more about the advantages.
There are two big advantages of using digital platforms. One is the cost element, and then the second is the convenience element.
Yes.
From a cost perspective, imagine that if you need to do a transaction, you will need to drive into a branch, right? You will need to get into traffic. First of all, you need to get into your vehicle.
Yeah.
You need to have gas in your vehicle. You need to get into traffic. That's all time. You get to the bank to be able to conduct the transaction. You find that the cost of doing the transaction in the branch is slightly higher than doing it on a digital platform. So purist from a digital perspective, it's much cheaper to do a transaction on your digital platform from a pricing perspective, but also from the fact that the resources that you're going to use to be able to do a transaction by driving to another branch are much higher. Then there's the convenience aspect. You can do a digital transaction from the convenience of your home. You could be in the sitting room. You could be at the dining table. You could actually be in your office, and you'll be able to, to transfer funds. You'll be able to check your balance. So from a convenience perspective, it doesn't take as much time as it takes for a physical transaction, because you then have to fill in a form, you have to go to a branch for that a transaction to be processed. So the biggest convenience is that you save on time, and you save on money.
So what is, I love that, and I want to know, for Stanbic Bank as a bank, what unique digital banking products have you introduced to place your customers ahead in personal and business activities?
We're a leader from a digital perspective in many respects. We've actually been investing significantly over the last couple of years to be at par and to literally beat our market. From a lending perspective, as earlier stated, we're probably the only bank, if not few, that are lending from our digital perspective. Secondly, we've also partnered with other MNOs and other third parties to be able to do digital transactions. So you will have an instance where somebody is probably in a far-off place where there's no branch. They should be able to still deposit money into their account. We've partnered with an MNO. We've actually partnered with MTN. We're partnering with another MNO. We're literally finalizing the testing of that service. They'll be able, for example, with MTN, be able to go to an MTN booth and be able to deposit in their account. So they'll deposit in their wallet, and from their wallet they can transfer money into a bank account, and vice versa. They'll be able to transfer money from their bank account into the wallet. So that's one big innovation. Like I said, we're bringing in another MNO. Currently, it's with MTN. We're also literally concluding with another telco for us to be able to do this service with them. Over and above that, of course, there's the traditional services, from the fact that you can view your statement. You can view your account. Secondly, you can make payments. Make payments into your account. You can make payments to another party, a third party, with another bank. You can also buy utilities. You can do what we're calling value-added services. So, for example, you can buy your electricity. Let's say in the middle of the night you've run out of power, as opposed to to waiting until the following morning for you to be able to reload your electricity units. You can do that on your phone. You're able to pay for services such as DSTV off your mobile phone. So there are various services that an individual customer or indeed a corporate customer can be able to do on our platforms. They can do that through what we call USSD, which is where they dial *247#. They can do that by downloading our app. They can download our app from the Play Store, for example. They can download it on their phone, their tablet, or indeed their laptop. Or they can actually just use web services by going into internet banking to be able to access these services. Here's the thing, Lulu. At this point, purely from a convenience perspective, there's absolutely no need to walk into a branch. I will tell you that I haven't been in a branch to do a banking transaction in maybe a couple of years. The only time I go to a branch is obviously if I'm meeting staff or I'm meeting colleagues in a branch, because I can do transfers. I can view statements. Yeah. I can make payments of my digital transaction. Most of the services that you do in a physical branch, you can actually do them from a digital platform. Of course, there are a few services that we still need to digitize that you have to walk into a branch for. Of course, if customers again want to, go into a physical branch, well, they're welcome. Yeah. Of course, we want to encourage them, particularly in this time of COVID, to use digital platforms.
So I love that you actually spoke on the digital channels that can, help us with our day-to-day activities, the mobile app, the USSD, and the internet banking features. I think that is just fantastic. Now, from your e-commerce services, I hear there's a difference between digital and e-commerce services offered by Stanbic Bank. How can a business customer access them, and what are the benefits of these e-commerce products?
Yeah. E-commerce is actually an important product for us, or an important proposition for us. Essentially what e-commerce does, and it's actually a digital platform as well, what it does is that it gives customers the opportunity to be able to make payments using the internet. Again, in the comfort of their homes, they can make payments. So essentially what happens with e-commerce is that you use your card to make payments. So instead of, for example, going to an ATM and using the card physically, what you do is that you use the details on your card to make the payment. So remember that on the card there'll be the name of the card holder. There'll be the card number. There'll be what is known as the CVV, which is literally at the back.
The last three numbers.
Exactly, the last 3 digits. So once you have that information, you should be able to make a payment on e-commerce. Over and above, obviously, you need to know the amount that you want to spend. So essentially, from an e-commerce perspective, it's 2 legs. If you allow me to just sort of get into it a bit. From a customer perspective, that's what's required. But in the event that you're a corporate as well, and you would like to partner with the bank, and again, there are multiple corporates that are saying, look, as opposed to customers physically coming into our shops, they should be able on our website to log on to our website and be able to purchase goods or products from ourselves, such as what you're doing.
What we do.
Exactly. So in that event, the customer will approach us. We will open an account with that particular corporate. Once we open that account, we will then link them with our PayGate services, our gateway. We will then integrate their website to our payment gateway for us to be able, and our e-commerce platform, for them to be able to do transactions using e-commerce. Then obviously they'll be able to advertise that website. They'll advertise the fact that customers can make payments on their website.
Yeah, I'm glad to say we've had no issues with any Stanbic payments
Agreed,
on our website,
Agreed.
and it just makes it so much easier. It just makes it so much easier, and I'm happy that more people are becoming open, and maybe now we've been forced to become open to the idea of using, you know, our cards to make online payments and trusting the process.
Agreed. And yeah, to your point, the biggest benefit, obviously, of using e-commerce platforms is convenience.
Yes.
It's the fact that these transactions are instantaneous, just like that, similar to all other digital transactions. They happen immediately, and that's obviously the biggest benefit of e-commerce platforms. Similar to other digital platforms, there is no need to be physically present or drive or walk to a branch. A customer can actually do this transaction from the comfort of their homes.
Just to confirm, you did say it was cheaper, right? What are the cost implications? I just want to make that clear.
True. I mean, look, the charges are minimal in the event that somebody is making transfers or is doing a transaction. Depending on the type of transaction, they range between 15 Ngwe, 1 kwacha. And again, it's really meant to ensure that we can encourage people to do these transactions. So from a cost perspective, we try as much as possible from a pricing perspective to reduce the cost of doing a digital transaction compared to a physical transaction, simply because the infrastructure is there, and we want to encourage more traffic on our digital transactions rather than our physical transactions.
I think my favorite part about using your digital channels as Stanbic Bank is just how fast, as you said, just the convenience. I'm not a very big fan of using cash, so I really love that I can, make payments so quickly. And like I said, also your payment gateway has just been fantastic to work with. If there's any of our viewers who are just joining us, I'm talking to Mbinga, who's the head of digital channels at Stanbic Bank, and we've had a wonderful chat. I think I've learned even a bit more as your customer, and I think whether you're a corporate client or an individual client to Stanbic Bank, today you have been able to get a bit more knowledge about what Stanbic offers. Just before we go, I would like to know, you mentioned something about power units. I can pay for my bills, I can get the instant money vouchers. What happens if I have a lost transaction?
Well, in that event, as a customer, you'll be able to again get onto our digital channel. Let's say, for example, yes, you haven't received the number for you to be able to load units. What you could do is there's a reissue option on our USSD service. So in that particular case, then a customer can be able to dial *247#. They'll go to value-added services. On the value-added services, they'll see the reissue option, and they'll, as a result, they'll be able to retrieve the units number for them to load units. Okay,
fantastic. So it's really, really easy. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Maybe I missed something in my questions to you.
I just want to encourage your viewers to use our digital platforms. One, it's cheaper. Secondly, it's convenient. And in the time of COVID, it's safe. Yes. It's safe for them, obviously, in the sense that they will not be interacting with other individuals. In essence, they will not be able to pass on or contract the pandemic. So I would like to encourage as many people as possible to try out our digital services. In the event that they are not sure, they can still walk to any of our physical branches, or they can call our call center, where they could be advised how to use our digital channels in the event that they've got any specific questions that we haven't already tackled in this discussion.
Is your call center available at all times? What hours are your call centers available?
Our call center is open up to 22 hours. They can dial 8200 to be able to reach our call center.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mbinga. And I think one thing that is also another big plus for you as Stanbic Bank or just anyone that wants to use digital platforms is that it's available at any time. There is no banking hours.
No.
No, thank you so much, Mbinga, for joining me on this Tili Pamodzi chat. And to our viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us today. With the pandemic that's hit us, COVID-19, a lot of us are working from home or staying at home, practicing social distancing, and having to come to a bank can be quite a big task. And also, you might fear, your health, for your health. So I'm so happy that Stanbic Bank has given us this platform to be able to discuss the options that are out there for you. Let us use these digital and mobile channels and the e-commerce channels as much as we can. Mbinga, thank you once again for having time in your busy schedule as you work from home to have this chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So to our viewers at home, please do get in touch with Stanbic Bank on all their social media channels. Ask as many questions as you can. You've also heard that their toll-free line is available for you to be able to ask any questions if you've got any issues with your digital banking or any other banking problem. So it's been great to be with you today. My name is Lulu Haangala Wood, and let's stay blessed and safe.
Tomorrow is gonna be a better day.